Again, and welcome back. Here we are to continue working on our React project. And in the previous video, we set up the buttons here. We got the tags working. We got, the inventory listed. Let's talk about a few other things, right? So this looks pretty good, but what if we wanted to add a shopping cart, right? So that'll be our next challenge, right? And before we do that, we should do a little bit of cleanup on the code that we do have, right? So in my code, if I look at the product list right here, I can see that I could easily deconstruct name, description, price, and category and rating, right? So these could be deconstructed, and this could possibly be moved into its own component, right? So why don't we do that first? You can give that a try on your own, and then I'll walk through how to do it. But the idea here is let's turn this into a component, right? And then let's deconstruct these properties off of object, like name, description, price, okay? Okay, so how did you do on that? Let's see. I'm going to make a new file, right? And this is called product list. So let's make the new component, just call it product, and it'll represent one product, right? So I'll make a new file. I'll save it. Product.js will be the name. And let's set up our component. So I'll say function product. And we're going to probably take in some props, right? So we'll add props here. And then we'll return some JSX. So I'll leave that empty for now. We can copy it from the other file. And then we're going to export default product. Okay, so that's our basic component there. It's just a function, right? So I'm going to return to product list. And then I'm going to cut this stuff out of here, okay? So I'll cut that, and then I'm going to paste it into here, and then do a little formatting there to make it look good, right? And if we wanted, we could put a class name on this, right? And if I wanted to make a style sheet for this, if I needed that, I could add it, right? Okay, great. Let's go back to product list here, and then this is going to cause an error because we're not returning anything. So let's import that component. So I'm going to choose import product from ./product, right? And then our component will be here, right? So I'm going to say product, and I can just put the slash there because it won't have any children, right? So now I'm getting an error here. It says object is not defined, right? And that's because in the product right here, you can see like I didn't define an object anywhere, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these values, name, description, price, category, and rating. I'm going to get them from props. So let's deconstruct. We haven't set them yet, so we're going to have to do that too, but let's deconstruct them here first, and then we'll set them, okay? So there's props, and then I can deconstruct to name, description, price, category, and rating, okay? So that means here I can remove the object dot in front of each one of these, right? Okay, so that actually looks a lot cleaner there. It's a lot nicer. I see an error here because we got to actually set these values, right? So, so let's go back to our product list, right? Okay, so here's the product here, but what I want to do is I want to take these values, right? Object.category, object.description, right? Now I want to pass them in here. So let's actually do this the long way, and then we'll kind of shorten it, okay? I'm going to walk through a couple ways that you can approach this, right? Because there's actually kind of a special syntax we can use in this particular case, okay? So let's do name equals, and then I'll do object.name. And then we'll do description equals object dot description category equals, object dot category, and I think we had rating. Let's do rating equals object dot rating, right? Oh, there we go. So now that kind of came back, right? It still seems to be working right. I got everybody here. So that looks pretty good. Now remember, we can deconstruct this object variable into just the names. So, you know, if I was here, I could say, like, let's say const, curly brackets, object, right? And then I could say, let's deconstruct your name, description, category. Oh, you know what? I forgot price on there too. So let's do price and rating. And then over here, let's add price to the list, right? The order doesn't matter on these, you know. So we'll do price. And then here, I can remove the object dot on each of these, okay? So we'll save that. Oh, and there's the price came back and everybody's still there, right? So that looks pretty good. So this is kind of nice, but actually there's an even nicer way to do this, right? Since all of the objects here, or I should say all the properties exist on object, and those property names, these names right here match the name of the prop, like we use the same name, right? And this only works because we use the same name, right? So as long as we use the same name here, we can actually deconstruct this inside the call right here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all those. I know we just did all that work, and then I'm going to delete this one, right? And what we're going to do here, actually I can even put this all in one line now, it's going to be so short. We're going to put the curly brackets there and then do dot 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 object, okay? And this says like, hey, take every property here and assign it to a prop with the same name, okay? So we can do that, and then you can see this still works the same here, right? So now this component got a lot shorter, right? And then if we want to deal with the product and we just want to know what's going on here, we can look at the product.js right here, right? And everything in this view right here is what we see here, right? Okay, great. So that's kind of like a nice little feature there. So you just put it in the curly brackets and you use the spread operator, the dot dot dot, right? And this, as long as the props have the same name as the properties on the object here, then you can spread them out and they'll be set with the same value, with the matching value, okay? Actually, yeah, you can see I can hover over that and it kind of tells me like ID, name, category, right? So I'm going to get all those values here, okay? Okay, great. So let's see, what else do we need to do here? Oh yeah, let's start talking about the shopping cart, right? So the shopping cart, we're gonna actually come back to this later, but let's imagine like how we might do that, right? We might do it with state, right? So you can give it a try on your own, right? But we're gonna come back to this a little later. So the idea is we can make a component, right? And the component can represent the shopping cart. Now, if the shopping cart is going to work with products in the list here, then the cart has to be held in state that's above, right? Or like lifted above, right? So we can't just hold the state here inside the product list, right? Because it might need to be shared with the category list or with the inventory or something, right? So we probably want to hold the shopping cart state up here in app, okay? And then when we display the shopping cart, we want to make a component, right? So we might add another component here that said shopping cart, right? Or maybe you could put it underneath here in the header, or you could maybe put it inside the header component, right? Okay. So anyway, so that covers a lot of the stuff here. Yeah, and so yeah, you can submit your homework on Gradescope when you're done. Okay, and again, thanks for watching.